Hey everyone, I am T-Rex, and today I'm going to go see Dune. I have a midnight screening to go see it. Is Wednesday night, and I am so excited. I love Denis Villeneuve. I've loved his films, especially Blade Runner 2049. That is one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. It's in my top 5 movies. So I am pumped. I haven't read the book. I know this only adapts the first half of the book, but I'm excited. Please, I'm so excited. And I'm gonna tell you my initial reactions out of the theater. Let's go.
Only I will remain.
3:28 a.m.
I just finished watching Dune. I am very tired. It is 3 in the morning, and I don't feel like giving a full review right now. So I'm gonna go to bed, think about what I just watched, and give you an accurate review in the morning. That way I don't forget everything. Basically though, right now, it's long, it's dense, very complicated, my brain hurts. I think I liked it. I'm not sure. This is a movie I'm gonna have to think about. Okay, so I saw Dune 2 nights ago. I was gonna review it on Thursday, but I just couldn't get my mind around it. I didn't know what I thought about the movie, and now I think I do. So it's Friday, and I really think I can now kind of explain what I thought about Dune, because there was so much in this movie that I just couldn't unpack, and so much of it that I really didn't know what I thought about. I'm really glad I didn't make a review yesterday, because I don't think it would have accurately showed what I actually thought about this movie, because this is a movie I had to think about. I haven't thought about this movie this much in a while, because it's so deep and there's so many choices that it's just really complex. So let's just get into the review. First off, this movie is super unique. That is a huge positive. I don't think I've seen a movie that does this sci-fi so differently and yet so uniquely. It's really great. Also, another thing I love about the sci-fi here is that the CG elements are blended nearly perfectly. I mean, the CG ships fit in this world so realistically, and I don't think you've seen a sci-fi movie this realistic since Blade Runner 2049, which is surprise surprise by the same director. The world building here as well I thought was just absolutely killer, and leads to some great payoff. I mean, man, it is just this beautiful world, and that mostly comes from the cinematography. This is some of the greatest cinematography I've seen this year, and it's not surprising because it's by Greg Fraser, who has slowly become one of my favorite directors of photography that I know. You might know him for stuff like Rogue One. He directed some of the photography for some of the episodes of Mandalorian, especially episode 3, The Sin of season 1, which is my favorite episode, and it looks amazing. And he's also doing he's the DP for The Batman. And if you've seen those trailers, holy crap, that movie looks amazing. And this movie looks incredible. Man, every scene in the desert is beautiful. And even the shots inside, some of them have a little bit of a horror aspect, and this movie just looks incredible. Also, when it comes to the characters and storylines, I don't think I've seen a movie this rich in characters since Fellowship of the Ring. I mean, there's so much lore and just so many plot lines and so many different things that the characters are doing. It's incredible how much they're able to pack into this movie, and it is just so deep and rich, and that adds just so much to the movie, because I've never seen a movie with this much in it. That leads to another thing. This movie is just dense, and it is really got a lot of stuff in it, and that means it's a full course meal of a movie. Oh my gosh, there's so much to digest of this movie, and that's why I didn't make my review yesterday. I just didn't have time to unpack all of it. I had to really sit with this movie, because there were so many things they do that I didn't know how to feel about. There were so many things that happened in this movie. This movie just felt so different. I kept thinking about this movie in the street, and I've never seen something like this. It was so unique, and I really just couldn't even, it left me flabbergasted. I had no clue what to think about this movie, because I'd never seen anything close to it. So this movie is rich with characters and looks incredible, and there's just so much in it that if you love deep, rich characters, you're gonna love it. I didn't love this movie though. There are some things that are fantastic here at play, like the narrative, the characters, the cinematography. I think that is all incredible. But there's some things for me that just don't work. I think this movie's a little too overindulgent when it comes to its story for me. I think it's a little too slow at times, and not the best on focusing was the best parts of this story, which is really weird for me, and I thought it was kind of interesting that this movie kind of had issues with being too indulgent on the story. Now, just for point of reference, I love slow movies, like Blade Runner 2049 is a very slow movie, and I love it. It's in my top 5 movies, as I said before, and I just don't think this movie, though, is interested in telling the most concise narrative of Dune that it can. It is interested in focusing on every little detail of Dune and capturing as well as it can. So if you've read the book, you're going to love that, because it's going to capture everything perfectly. For me, though, who's never experienced the story of Dune, I would like things to move along a little bit quicker. I thought it doesn't prioritize the most interesting things about Dune. So my main issue with the movie is about the priorities it has with its pacing. Nearly every time I talk about a movie and the problems it had, it goes back to pacing. And for me, this movie is absolutely beautiful in the first hour and a half. Nearly perfect, I might say. Just incredible. Everything works and it is amazing, and the world and characters being set up, and I love the politics that are going on as well. It is so interesting. Then you get to like this 2/3 mark, and there's a big shift in the movie, no spoilers. And the last 40 minutes though, I thought they just really treaded water. It was really just, I don't know, I just felt like they didn't really do as much as they could have with the amount of time they had. It felt like they just wanted to get to one part of the movie, and they were taking it as long as they could to just capture everything around there to get to there. And I think they could have done a much better job of using that time to further the story of the entire narrative, even if it didn't make it as good of an ending point, because this movie feels so awkward in its third act. This third act just, I don't think works. I think the first 2 acts are amazing, but that third act, it just feels really weird, because you know this is part 1 of a book. On its own, I don't think this movie works perfectly, because the first 2 acts feel really good, but that third act feels kind of wonky. But I think it will work perfectly when the second movie comes out, so this movie's just stuck on its own. I don't think I'm gonna like it as much. This third act feels weird, because I haven't read the narrative. I think if you do, it's gonna be a lot better, but for me, this third act just kind of felt like, what? Like, we're ending here? Oh, okay, I guess. And I just don't think that third act works, because it's obviously like the halfway point of the entire story. I think what annoys me the most is that I love the narrative that this movie sets up. I love the world, the politics, the characters, and everyone, and all the politics and houses fighting over Arrakis and the spice, desert power. There's just great acting here, and I love that. And my gosh, is this narrative and characters incredible, and this movie is nowhere close to anything else I've seen when it's come to that. And I just think that these issues may be solved in the second one when we get the full 2 chapters, the full narrative. But until then, this movie just feels incomplete for me. And I'm reviewing this movie as a standalone movie, right? I'm not going to review this as, this is amazing if we get a second part. No, I'm reviewing this movie as a movie on its own. I don't think it works perfectly. That said, you might think I hate this movie. No, I love it. Like, I really liked it, man. Through all the issues, I had a fantastic time with Dune. I love the characters, the politics, the story, the cinematography. It's incredible. The music, oh my gosh. And I just am a little annoyed that I didn't get to see more. I think that's why. I think it all comes down to me personally. I wanted to see as much of this story as I could, and I just didn't get that. I thought the third act was a little weird, didn't love that, but everything else I absolutely adored. Just that third act kind of held me back, because I was wanting to see as much as I could, and I just didn't get that. But for other people who read the book, this is going to be incredible, because every detail is going to be perfect. Like, I bet. Like, I haven't read it, but you guys, I bet, are going to love it. That said, though, for the casual Joe, I don't know if you're going to like this. I think you could really hate this, honestly. It can feel overly long, pretentious, and a little too self-indulgent at times. So I'm really confused how this movie's gonna turn out in the long run, but I'm excited to see what they do with it. I think what this movie sets up is incredible. I'm really excited to see where the narrative goes. I love the characters, and I love that first hour and a half. Oh, I love it. But for me, this was a pretty solid outing, even with all the problems that I have in that third act, and just it not feeling satisfying enough to me, at least. But I think you guys are going to like it. I think this is a solid outing for Denis Villeneuve, and I think that Dune is great, and I'd give it an 8 out of 10. But still, I'm really excited to hear what you guys thought about Dune. Tell me down below in the comment section. Anyways, when my next video comes out, I'll see you then. Remember desert power. Bye.